Hey guys, it's Kelly. Thanks for joining me today. I'm going to be doing a standing routine, well mainly standing, and hopefully you guys can join me and hear me okay. So let's go ahead and start out. First of all, let's make sure that we are in proper alignment. A lot of times when we just stand, our pelvis will drop down, and that's when we feel a lot of our back pain and the compression in the lower lumbar of our spine. So I want you to imagine on your hip bones here that you have some loops, like jean loops, and you just want to pull them up just a bit. It's just a centimeter, and it's just enough to where you feel just the slightest bit of activation here deep inside those muscles, keeping those pelvis held in line here. And then the rib cage, I want you to imagine that there you have a shoelace laced in between each rib, going from side to side, and you're just kind of cinching it tight here. So you just feel completely activated and strong in your core. We have the chair here just for if you need balance, then you can always, we're not going to fight with our balance. We can just stand behind the chair and do some leg raises, or we'll use the chairs for some squats and that kind of thing just to help us with our balance. All right, so first just pulling up those belt loops just a centimeter here, just feeling the strength in the belly. And I want you just to do some shoulder rolls. Feel the shoulders rising and coming down the back. Feel as if the tip of the shoulder blades are reaching deep down into your back pockets here as you come down your back. Just feeling very strong, all the while keeping the strength deep inside here. A lot of times through movement, our body wants to react, and then we lose our strength. And we can do all kinds of funny things, and that's how we start hurting ourselves. Please notice my assistant, Bosco. Yeah, you're a good boy. I love you. Thank you for helping me today. Yes. One more here, guys. All right, so let's go ahead and just raise those arms, just simple movement. But as we do this, I want you to feel your shoulder blades kind of becoming disc, rotating discs, raising those arms up, feeling the tips of the shoulder blades reach down the back. So a lot of times when we reach above our head here, our shoulders can come up to our ears. So we're just at this point just building awareness with our body. Just feel the strength through the shoulder blades. Imagine the shoulder blades creating this movement. The great thing about Pilates is you can make it as hard or as simple as you want. So depending upon how engaged you are and how mindful you are through the movement will determine how much resistance you can add to the movement. So you'll notice I have no weights around me. I'm just going to use my mental resistance. So I like to imagine that I'm in like some really deep mud or sand or whatever, and I'm trying to make my way out of that surface, whatever it is. So you'll notice if you can add that mental strength here, how much harder it becomes. And you really don't need weights. Still keeping my belt loops lifted, my ribs tight. Let's do one more. We're going to meet our hands up at the top, place them behind our head, and use the muscles in the back of the neck to push against the hands here. And now what we're going to do is come over side to side. As we do this, my foot is pressing down into the ground, and I'm staying squeezed in between a double pane of glass here. And then I'm using these muscles to lift myself up. We'll just stay on this side. Now, if having both hands behind your head, if that hurts your shoulders or your neck, then simply just drop one arm down, or you can drop both arms down and come down to your waist here. These are all just options. So really pushing down through that opposite foot and feeling those muscles pull yourself up. Really pull yourself up. Keeping those ribs laced nice and tight. So again, all of these movements are going to look really simple. It just is going to determine how much imagination, how much resistance you're going to put into it. And maybe you probably won't feel too terribly sore. Let's do one more on this side. But it may be just enough to where you'll be like, what did I do? What did I do yesterday? So keeping my body, keeping my bottom portion of my body nice and straight and vertical. So you'll notice as I lean over, my hips are not reacting. So try to be mindful of how your body is reacting to a movement. Stay in control with it. Pressing down through this foot, elongating this leg, and lifting up. Still activating those muscles in the neck, pressing against your hands. You'll feel the upper back as well, keeping those elbows wide. One more. And lift. Reach those arms up. Keep the tips of the shoulder blades down the back and bring it down. Good. Roll those shoulders. All right. Working the underarm. I like this exercise. A very simple exercise here. So again, it's all what you put into it. We're going to put our arms out wide, and this part under here that we kind of, as we age, it becomes like the little bat wing effect. I want you to imagine these muscles down here underneath your arm, all underneath your armpit and down around like your chest line here is driving this exercise. So what we're going to do, my palms are facing down at the moment. I don't know if you can see through the screen here. I may be going out of range, but my palms are down facing the floor starting out, and my arms are wide and my shoulder blades feel like they're stretched across my back, projecting my arms and my hands out to the side. So palms facing down, and we're going to use this muscle here to drive and kind of flip the palms up towards the ceiling. Push the arms forward slightly, just in your peripheral vision, and then back. So back and forth. So the movement is kind of like twisting a doorknob here, but there's a swinging motion, not really swinging motion, but a push forward. Again, the muscles underneath the arms are driving this movement, swiveling the arms and the palms up and down. So feel those muscles underneath, push the arms forward, twisting the palms up, and then rotating as almost like the forearm is being pushed forward. So just a simple rotation here. So we're in control. So you'll notice that my body is not really moving. Obviously, I'm over exaggerating here. But my body is kind of controlled. So I still have my belt loops lifted. I still have my ribs laid nice and tight. So even though I'm not actively doing a crunch, my core muscles are still activated and strong, keeping me as stable as possible. So my inner thighs, I'm feeling as if my inner thighs are magnetized towards one another, pulling towards one another. My bum is nice and tight, kind of lifted underneath. I feel my quads forming and shaping, and my feet feel grounded here. I want you to feel nice and even through your feet. Balance from side to side, front to back. Now obviously, even though the muscles underneath the arm, even though those muscles are driving this movement, you're going to start feeling your shoulders here. Just keep on going, we're having fun, right? And this is where you'll probably start cursing at me and getting mad. Don't turn me off. Keep it going here. We can do this. Come on, I haven't done these in a long time. Oh, it's burning. Right in that delt here. Right here. Shaping them up. Getting ready for summer. Let's do 10, 9, count down with me. 8, 7, 6, 5. Keep those legs strong. 3, 2, and 1. Float down. Oh, yeah. We can stretch that out here. Feeling it right in there? Yep. All right, moving on to triceps. This is one of my favorites. Again, no weight, so we're gonna imagine we have weights, or imagine we have like a resistance band. Obviously, if you have those things around and you wanna use them, go for it. The only thing I suggest is if you do have the weights, we're not going to squeeze the daylife out of them. I just want you to rest them in your hands if you do have them. All right, I'm going to stand sideways with a split stance. But my hips, a lot of times when we do split stance, our hips want to open. So I want you to pull those hips square here. Again, we're going to activate these muscles. A lot of times when we open up our stance, our hips want to follow and react, which can cause the back pain and the back pressure that we feel sometimes in the lower lumbar. So pull up those belt loops just a bit. You may find a little stretch here in the hip flexor. For me, standing up, you can stand up here. For me, I kind of like to hinge forward. This is not the time, though, to round and be lazy here. So keep the shoulder blades flat down the back. Keep those belt loops pulled up and those bellies activated, the ribs laced nice and tight. We're going to bring those arms back behind us. My hands are in line with my shoulders here. Don't let them flare out. Notice the strength it takes in the triceps to keep those arms pulled in nice and tight. It doesn't have to be a huge lift. My shoulders in line with my ears, or my ears in line with my shoulders. And we're just going to do a little lift. Just a tiny little lift. Now we don't want to lift so high to where it's getting up into our shoulders. We don't need added stress in our shoulders. Just a tiny little lift. And as you lift, again, we're lifting straight in line with our shoulders. We're not flaring out with each lift. Keep them pulled in nice and tight. Again, with Pilates, I like to imagine we're always surrounded by a double pane of glass. So we have a pane of glass on one side of us and the other side within our shoulders. We're keeping the neck in line, so those muscles back in the neck are activated, keeping the ears in line with the shoulders. A lot of times we can start doing this, so just be aware of that. Keeping those hips in line, belt loops lifted, belly activated here. And you're just really noticing the triceps lifting and controlling this movement. Hold it here. Now little pulses. We're going to do 3 sets of 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, hold. Second set. Every time you lift, imagine your arms growing longer. 3, 2, hold. Last time. 3, 2, and hold. And slowly relax. And you should have felt that right in the back of the arm. So let's go ahead and stretch it out. Feels good, right? And other side. Good. All right, now what we're going to do, just for fun, we're going to switch it over to the other side. Again, hips are square, pull up those belt loops just a bit, just to where you feel those belly muscles getting strong, ribs laced, and we're just going to hinge to create a nice line between the ears, shoulders, hips, and heel. This time what we're going to do is we're going to work our back. So shoulder blades here. I want you to imagine your hands on a flat surface. So imagine a surface like you're up against the wall and that wall is leaning here and your hands are just hovering over that wall. We're going to use the shoulder blades to push those arms up as the tips of the shoulder blades stay pulled down the back and then slide back down the wall. Pushing up and sliding down. We don't want the shoulders coming up to the ears. We want to keep the shoulders down. Keep those arms wide, ears over the shoulders, belt loops stay lifted, ribs stay laced. And now we're going to make this movement just a tad bit bigger by pulling those elbows down just a little bit more to where you feel the rotation of the shoulder blades kind of coming in towards the spine just a bit. And pushing up, push up. Again, add your resistance here. Imagine pushing some weight up here. That weight can be 5 pounds, be 10 pounds. Kind of just push your way up, pull your way down for that rotation. Let's do 5, 4, 3, hips stay squared, belt loops lifted, 2, and 1. And let's go ahead and come out of that. Roll those shoulders out. Good. All right, some arm work. I'm out of breath. All right, so again, no weights. If you want to have bands here, or if you have weights laying around, or if you want to grab some cans or water bottles, whatever you want to do, it's totally fine. All right, just some bicep curls. I'm just going to add that mental resistance. What I want you to do is just imagine that you have bags here. So my arms are open out at an angle just a bit. I'm going to close my stance. So again, pulling up the belt loops, lacing those ribs, cinching your bum. Inner thighs feel like they're magnetized towards one another, and your feet feel grounded here. So your whole body is energetic and strong. And feel as if the muscles in your body are being pulled in towards your central line here, your core. Okay, arms out at an angle, elbows soft. Use that bicep to pull here. Also use that bicep, since I don't have any weight, I'm going to use this bicep to push the forearm down. Now sometimes when we start doing biceps exercises, I find with myself, because it's a pulling, lifting up sensation with my, or movement with my arms, sometimes my shoulders can kind of creep up. Be aware of that and make sure that you're not doing that. Tips of the shoulder blades, your chicken wings are always being pulled down, strapped down your back. Push and pull here. Let's go ahead and switch this movement to a hammer curl, more out in front. So if you want open palms, palms would be facing each other if you have weights. Your hands are light around the weights. Just let the weight rest in your fingers and thumbs here as you lift. And even if you have a weight, still add that resistance. Imagine moving through that mud. Or imagine someone pressing against your forearm and then pushing down. Let's do 4, 3. You can also use the triceps here for that full extension. 1 more. We're going to stop halfway down, hold, activate those muscles. We're going to flip the palms up now. And now we're going to work that rotator cuff. So we're going to open, hold it here. So you're going to feel the muscle or a burning sensation right in the back here. And what I want you to do is use that muscle. My feet are still grounded, my belt loop's still lifted, ribs are still laced, inner thighs still are magnetized towards one another, very strong. My quads are still activated here. We're going to use the muscle in the delt to pull, pull. You may not even notice me moving much. It's not a huge movement. It's just that muscle pulling the arm back just a tad bit more. Feeling that burning sensation. Yep, it's burning. Again, if you had a band here, you could pull that band a little tighter. If you don't have a band, imagine it. Still remember those inner thighs being strong, isolating the legs. Still building those muscles, energy still very active here. 4, 3, 2, and 1. And slowly press it down and relax. Roll those arms. All right. Let's get back into legs, working our way down here. So what I want to do is, if at this time, if you want to use a wall or a chair just for balance, sometimes I feel like we fight with our balance too much, and then a movement can become very frustrating. So if having a chair or a wall by you during these next exercises helps alleviate that frustration of losing your balance, then use it, not a big deal. I don't want you totally relying on it and leaning on it, but it's just here for a little kickstand if you want. Okay, so what I want to do is we're going to start out, I'm trying to think. I think I like working with the inside leg with the chair. That way I can try to stay, the goal here is trying to stay as vertical as possible. So I'm going to be working and lifting this inside leg, this leg here. What we want to focus on is eventually we don't want those hips to pop out. We want to activate this inner thigh to pull the leg as vertical as possible. And when you do that, I want you to feel your muscle right in your bum here, kind of keeping those belt loops lifted, ribs stay nice and tight, and you're going to feel this quad forming itself. So this is the working leg. This is the isolated leg. Let's see which one you feel the worst with. Again, I'm trying to stay as vertical as possible, so my hand is just here for support. I'm not relying on it, just not going to be frustrated with lack of balance. All right, this is the working leg. My quad here is in charge of lengthening the leg as long as it can be. Movement in Pilates does not matter. So it's the control that you have and the mental resistance that you can add to the movement that will benefit you. All right, so just a tiny little lift here. Just straight up and down. My knee is straight up to the ceiling here. Key here is the quad is straightening this leg. And the longer, the higher you lift your leg, imagine the quad lengthening the leg a little bit more through the foot. All the while trying to stay as vertical as possible. Noticing this leg, of course. Feel like there's a string right here lifting here. Feel that muscle lifting. Feeling it. Let's do 2 more. 2. Hold it here. Now, what I like to do, have a marker if you want. If you can let go of your chair, great. If not, find another wall here or bring the chair over to this side. I'm going to bend and lengthen here. The key for this arm is to make sure this leg doesn't drop down. Keep it as a marker. Use this muscle to really push through the bottom of the leg. This leg's getting tired. Keep it strong and gravitated towards the central part of your body. Push and form here. Push and form. Staying nice and tight through the core, always, always. 3, 2, hold. Here we go. 3 sets of 10. 10, 9, 8. 3, 2, hold. Second set. Oh, did I say 3 sets? 4, 3, 2, hold. Like a set, make it the best. Come on, here we go. Body check here. Come on. Tight, tight, tight. My legs are shaking. Keep it long. 3, 2, hold. Control down. Oh, I will say, and I apologize, but I'm a bad counter when I start leading these exercises, so you're going to probably notice that I may end up doing more than what I say normally. I'm used to teaching in front of a class and they keep me straight. So if you have to yell at me or curse at me during the class, the good thing is I won't hear you. So curse away. All right, you guys, moving on to the other side. Again, don't let that hip get lazy. We're not standing here listening to a conversation and working hard. So pull it in, lengthen here, pull up those belt loops, lace through the ribs, and lift. Every time you lift, create a longer leg. Really using those muscles. Feeling the burn. And this leg, since it was isolated, probably going to feel it a little bit worse through this series. My hand, I'm not totally relying on it. Low leaning. Get yourself lifted up. If you can't do the whole series, no big deal. Do what you can. Get back into it when you feel ready. Let's do 3, 2, hold it up here. Mark your height here. Take a glance here. Bend and push. Push. If you want to flex, if it's better for you to flex the foot, flex it. If it's better for you to point, and flatten that ankle, flatten the ankle. Whatever you need to do to get that strength there. We have no weights here, so make it work for yourself. Develop that quad, muscle right in the thigh, top of the thigh. And sometimes I notice that what I do on one side, I forget by the time I get to the other side. So if that happens, again, my apologies. I found a mistake on my last one. This is the last time. Hold it here. Now, tiny little lifts. 3 sets of 10 here. Three, 2, hold. Keep this body, legs strong. Second set, 10. Stay strong. Long. 3, 2, hold. Last set, here we go. This is the hard one, come on, focus. 3, 2, and hold. Slowly control it down. Stretch it out. Stretch it out. That feels good, right? It burns. All right, you guys. Now let's move on to the hamstring and the glutes. All right, so again, chair's just here to rely on to kind of assist. We don't want to totally be leaning on it. We just want to kind of keep our body in check and use it so we don't lose our balance. So I'm working this front leg. So again, pulling up my belt loops, lacing my ribs, activating my core, and just hinging at the hips. Shoulders stay down the back, ears stay over the shoulders. And we're just going to step back depending upon your height of your arms and what feels best for you. All right, when we do this, again, don't push out through that back hip. Keep everything pulled and centered, and we want to try to keep the hips pointed down. We don't want to open up the hips. All right, guys, sorry about that. Technical difficulty. I ran out of battery, so if there's a glitch, and I don't know what I'm going to be doing with editing, so there may be a little pause there. So my apologies. Anyway, moving on to hamstrings and glutes. All right, so we're hinging, we're activated, pulled up here. This back leg is straight, and instead of just letting it float out there, and even if you think it's straight, I want you to really think of the glute, your bum, pushing that leg along here. So your quad is activated and your bum. You're going to use your butt muscle here to lift, lift. And every time you lift, you're using your quad to make that leg a little longer. So again, just hinging, keeping the belt loops lifted, keeping your ribs laced, shoulders down the back. You should not be feeling any back pressure here. So you shouldn't be trying to lift so high to where your body's reacting, compressing your spine. Keep this engaged in the front here to keep everything locked. Your head of the femur bone is working within the hip socket. The muscle is just lifting that leg. Lift, lift. This leg, standing leg, of course, it's isolated. Could be burning from the previous exercises. We're going to lift one more time, hold it up here. Now we're going to use that muscle. We're going to bring that knee forward. So imagine bringing the knee just in line with the standing knee and then using the butt muscle to push that leg back out there. So it's just a little push here. Now, again, do what you need to do to make it work for you. If you need to feel like that you're stepping on a pedal behind you, step on a pedal. I will say that I have a little pressure in my arms, especially my left arm is feeling a little bit more weight to keep my body as stable and central as possible. It shouldn't be back here on the right side. We should be facing forward here. Good. If you want to bend that other leg, just like as a little plie here, you can. You don't have to. If adding that for an extra movement is too much, don't worry about it. I am feeling a little bit of strength happening in the hip. We're gonna do 3, 2, hold. Now, here we go, the 3 sets of 10. Little lifts. 5, 4, 3, 2, hold. Again, last second set. 3, 2, hold. Last set. 3, 2, and hold. And bring it forward. Good. If you want, you can switch over to the other side. You can just stay on that side, moving over to the other side. Trying to keep everything engaged in the front to help with the back. All right, here we go. Just a little tiny lifts here at the moment. Working within our hip socket. Again, we don't want to try to lift so high to where we have a rotation in our leg or in our torso, or to where our body starts reacting and you feel that compression in the spine. This torso is stable. Just using the bum to lift this leg and just squeeze and sculpt it with every lift. I'm feeling a little bit more weight on this front arm, on my right arm now, keeping the balance stable throughout my body. My right arm, my left leg. Feeling a little bit more pressure resting on this, on the chair. Let's do 4, 3, again, my apologies, I don't count, 2, and 1. All right, here we go. We're gonna bend that knee just a bit and squeeze, push. So for me, I like to imagine pressing through my heel, so my foot is gonna be flexed a little bit, because that, for me, mentally, it kind of helps me engage the right muscles a little bit. If you're better with pointing and elongating and flattening that ankle, do what works best for you. But make sure you have a full extension and there's a quick pause and the development of the glute and the quad with each extension. Here we go. 4, 3, 2, and hold. Let's do 3 sets of 10. Little lifts. And there's a formation of the muscle with each lift, squeezing, squeezing. 3, 2, hold. There may have been a little bonus in the second set. 10. 2, hold. Last set. 3, 2, hold, and relax down. Good, and just kind of stretch it out here. That feels good, just a stretch. Pressing down through the heels, lift your toes if you want it. Keeping your back as straight as possible. No hunching over. Try to keep those shoulders down the back. You'll notice it'll be a lot more of an effective stretch here. Use your belly muscles to lift yourself up. Good. And just kind of work it out here. All right, you guys, I'm going to move the chair in front of me just for some stretches. We're going to reach forward. I'm going to open up my stance as wide as what probably looks like to you to the chair, but it's about shoulder width. And I'm just going to lean forward and push my hips back. Looking like this. Come up onto your toes and push your heels outward. And just kind of feel your feet rolling outward on the outer part of the feet. Pushing those hips back, keeping the shoulders down the back. And bring it down. So my toes now are pointing outward, like at a 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. And then we'll use the belly to lift ourselves up, push ourselves up. Let's go ahead and grab our ankle here. I am not flexible at all in my thigh, so you'll notice that my knee does not hang flat down. When I try to pull it back, my pelvis comes out of position and I feel compression in my spine. So that's my body reacting to the stretch. Try to keep the belt loop lifted, and when I keep it lifted, my belly muscles stay very strong, protecting my back, which means I'm not as flexible as what I think. My knee comes forward a little bit. That's okay. I'll get there. Maybe, maybe not. Let's go over to the other side. Keep the belt loop lifted. Just as long as you feel a stretch in your thigh here, you'll eventually become a lot more flexible to where your knee hangs down. But if it means your body is being compromised and you're hurting yourself, it's just not worth it. The whole point of Pilates is to protect that back. So we're building those muscles deep inside. All right, you guys. Bring those arms up. I'm going to place my hand on my forearm and I'm just going to stretch here. Just kind of gently pulling this arm, relaxing your neck, grounding through my foot here, the opposite foot, and over to the other side. Just fanning out the ribs. Come up and bring those arms down. Good. Shoulder roll. Perfect. Put a smile on your face. Great. Thanks for hanging in there with me, guys. And hopefully you are staying safe and healthy. We'll see you real soon. Bye.